To kick things off here in heat number 1, a couple of the athletes to keep an eye on include a 2015 Games team member from CrossFit Rocks, Courtney Haley.
At only 23 years old, she's a CrossFit Games rookie, but she's got a gymnastics background. Maybe she can rely on that background to get through this event quickly.
And another name that is not familiar with charging up a leaderboard late, the Meridian Miracle performer, Stephanie Chung.
Another CrossFit Games rookie, graduated from Cornell. Hopefully she can put this event together quickly.
And away we go as we set the tone here in event number 10. Rob, what is your prediction?
Clubber Lang said in Rocky 3, pain. The name of the game here is speed, Brandon. You have to just embrace the pain. You know it's coming. This is a flat-out sprint. Even though there's high skill and the weight is a little bit on the heavier side, it's 85 pounds. I don't expect to see many broken reps. I expect to see these women absolutely fly through this first event.
Now, there was the choice that this could have been the second option. What does it change with this one going first?
With this event going first, this is heavier with the more skill leading the way. That allows these athletes to get a quick recovery and then light the fuse for the second event. We talked about this backstage, Brandon. Having the lighter event second only means that this thing is going to hurt more. And I think the community wanted to see a little bit of suffering on the floor.
A woman that doesn't look to be suffering at all 1 minute in is Brenda Castro. I believe she has 3 muscle-ups remaining in the opening round of 12. As she now holds the second position, it's Courtney Haley out in front, but everybody within a couple of reps of each other. And on to round number 2, the round of 9 and 9. Go our lead pack. Castro on the left side. In the center of the screen in the green shirt is Courtney Haley, the first one to the round of 9. Now this is an event where it pays to be fast, not just in the points, but you'll also get a little added rest because of that 6-minute time cap before the transition.
That's right. With a 6-minute time cap, let's say you finish this in 4 minutes, you get 2 minutes to rest before the end of the time cap, plus the extra minute in between the 2 events. So it pays to be really quick as you move through this first event.
Haley, the 23-year-old data analyst out of 17 Mile Rocks, Australia.
And you can see Haley and Castro both doing a good job staying on top of the bar. They regain their composure just for a second before they come down and feed into that second rep, that next rep.
Top 3 all in the screen. On the left, Brenda Castro currently holding the number 2 spot. Courtney Haley in the center, the leader entering the round of 9 bar muscle-ups. Meredith Root in the green tank top, third from the left in third. And into the final round of 6 and 6. Courtney Haley continuing to lead the way. Notice the numbers on the floor after 2 reps. She'll take a step forward, because that'll give you a visual representation of where the field is playing out. And it's a pretty simple visual at this point, as Courtney Haley has a 4-rep advantage over Brenda Castro in second. Nobody else has made their way to the final round just yet. And 6 reps remain for Courtney Haley. And this is a big way to close out this day, as it's not just 100 points on the table, it's 200 with this event and the event coming up after our brief halftime intermission, if you will. Haley has been faster thus far on her splits on the bar muscle-ups than Castro. But Castro closing the window. It's a 1-rep advantage, and Courtney Haley's barely going to hold her off as she'll set the time to beat in event number 10. It'll be Brenda Castro in second. It'll be 336.7 for Haley, 338.4 for Castro. Meredith Root well on her way to a top 3 finish here in the heat if she can hold off a couple of other athletes, as we've now got 4 others about to start the bar muscle-ups, including Lauren Fisher. You saw her on the right side of the screen a moment ago. There she is in the white pants near the top.
And if you look at the way they're using their hips, they're pulling the hips up toward the bar and then throwing the shoulders over the bar. A lot of the ladies are resting on top for a little second. That gives them a little bit of a break before they come down and try to use momentum to feed into that next rep.
4 minutes, 14 seconds, the time for Meredith Root. Lauren Fisher will be our next finisher. She'll come across right at about 4.5 minutes. Paige Semenza not far behind her. She will round out the top 5 here in our opening heat of event number 10. Next finisher will be Stephanie Chung. Danny Horan and Brista Mayfield each have finished. Now, even though we have not hit the time cap, we will still continue the clock to the 6-minute mark, then have the 1-minute intermission before we start event number 11. But the woman that'll have the longest rest and also the current 100-point spot for the provisional lead will be Courtney Haley.
Well, Brandon, we mentioned her before the event started because she's got that gymnastics background and she put it to good use. She also was super efficient on the snatches. You can see every single rep look really, really clean. And then on the muscle ups, you can see her center screen there, resting on top, putting her hips on top of the bar. She led this thing wire to wire, very calm and composed, approaching the barbell. Side by side, Brenda Castro doing a really good job of making sure that she was completely locked out on top of every single rep, making every rep count. Crosses over in 3:35 for the heat win.
She will be setting the tone at 3 minutes, 36.7 seconds. Pretty solid time coming out of heat number 1. Brenda Castro in second, less than 2 seconds behind. Meredith Root will round out the top 3, as it's 3 of the international athletes leading the 5 Americans here in our first heat. But the action continues for heat number 1 because about 40 seconds from now, we'll start event number 11.
Event number 11, 21:15.9 snatches and chest to bar pull-ups. Higher reps, lighter weight, our ladies here are going to use 55 pounds. Again, we've got a 6-minute time cap.
Now, the woman that has the most amount of rest coming into this is Courtney Haley with that win. How much does that benefit her?
It's huge because she's, even if it's an extra 30 seconds, it's 30 seconds that some of the other athletes didn't get. So in an event where you have 2 jam-packed back-to-back, every second counts.
Now, if you're somebody like a Danny Horan or a Brista Mayfield who rounded out that field, how do you handle the shorter rest? As we're about to find out who can utilize the rest period best, as heat number 1 of event 11, the second part of our doubleheader, is underway. This is 21:15.9 with the lighter barbell.
Hey there.
They'll continue to advance it every time they complete a third of the round with the barbell.
And you can see in the pink sports bra going so fast, bending over at the waist, barely using her legs whatsoever. That's just a fast ground to over. That is the quickest way to get that bar up and down. It's called a muscle snatch. There's no re-dip under the bar. We're pulling it up and throwing it right to that overhead position without re-dipping under it.
Brenda Castro, second place in the first part of our 2-part event. But it's going to be Danny Horan that will lead the way in the pink tank top, center of the screen. And she drops pretty quickly, and that's going to be bringing up the question of how her grip has maintained over the 3 days of competition thus far. And Horan, just not sure if that's a look of exhaustion or just an emotional moment there for Horan, but she looks more than fatigued in the grip department.
Well, this event is pulling and more pulling back-to-back with the power snatches first and bar muscle-ups going right into more power muscle snatches and chest-to-bar pull-ups. Grip intensive from start to finish.
Well, the early leader continuing to struggle, but rest is best because the top 2 in the first half of this double event are the top 2 in the second half of the double event. Make it all 3 of your top 3, as it's Haley in first, Castro in second, Root in third, all 3 of them on your screen. Brista Mayfield and Lauren Fisher will round out the top 5. Paige Semenza in the blue tank top there as well. Castro continuing to rip through these reps. with a 55-pound barbell. Castro on the left, Haley in the middle, Root on the right.
Now watching Haley here, you can see as she pulls that bar off the floor in the green shirt, watch her pull the bar off the floor and then drop underneath it. She's using the pop of the hips to send the bar up overhead and land in that quarter squat position. Really efficient. It's a little bit slower, but it's very efficient.
Near the bottom of the screen, gray tank top, purple shorts, Brista Mayfield, another one of our gymnasts here in this heat, has actually passed Brenda Castro for the lead. And the former Texas Women's University gymnast is out in front despite being one of the final finishers in the first half of this two-part. But again, quick work on the barbell for Courtney Haley, and she's out in front. And we are seeing a ton of lead changes here in this heat. Nine snatches, 9 chest-to-bar pull-ups, all that remain. Castro has been by far faster with the barbell. Haley has been faster in the gymnastic movements. Keep an eye on the front of the screen. Brista Mayfield back onto the barbell, where she's been making up ground on both of the top 2 athletes. Castro to the pull-up bar first. She'll have a 3-4 rep advantage over Courtney Haley before she hops up onto the bar. Castro breaks. Haley going with the butterfly style to try to pick up some ground. Castro comes off the bar again, opens the door for Courtney Haley, who's going to go back-to-back here in heat number 1. Second in the first event, second in the second event for Brenda Castro. So your top 2 stay the same, but Brista Mayfield's going to be the big mover, going from the first part to the second part, as she currently holds third. And it will be the mother of one. That'll be our third finisher, and we are seeing just the toll of destruction on these athletes. And if you like to see pain, as you and Clubber Lang put it, you chose well with this vote.
Well, we knew it was going to be grip intensive, but a sprint like this, where you've got 2 back-to-back sprints with a very short rest in between, that just torches your lungs. Imagine hopping on the rower and rowing as hard as you can for 2.5 minutes, resting a little bit, and repeating it just 2 minutes later.
Meredith Root, 4th place. Lauren Fisher, 5th. Leaving 3 athletes on the floor with 45 seconds remaining. Danny Horan in pink. 1 lane below her is Paige Semenza, who will be our next finisher. She'll come in just ahead of Stephanie Chung, who will come in just ahead of Danny Horan. Everybody beats the time cap at about 5.5 minutes. But it's Courtney Haley that pulls off the successful doubleheader, and she'll be the leader after heat number 1 in both event 10 and event 11. And that is a good way to spend a Saturday night here at the games.
Well, Brandon, Courtney Haley came out early, looked really strong from the start. Her power snatches were flawless. You could see her pull the bar off the ground and then drop into that quarter squat. Very efficient, a little bit slower cycle time than Brenda Castro. Brenda Castro on the pull-up, really, really fast early, but dropped off, actually landed on her rear end, had to chalk up. You could tell the grip was completely shot. And it was Haley that just kept marching forward methodically from station to station. The pull-ups were on point. It was a quick race through the end. Courtney Haley was able to hang on to the bar and finish with a time of 4:16.
And the individual games rookie will set the tone, but we still have 3 heats remaining in both event 10 and 11, with heat 2 coming up next. Well, it was up to you how the athletes at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games get to spend their Saturday night here in Madison, Wisconsin. And you chose pain, and that is what the athletes are experiencing here with events 10 and 11. Brandon Domain, Rob Orlando, Mike Arsenault with you at the Alliant Energy Center. And it was a 58% vote for BiCouplet 2 to go first ahead of BiCouplet 1. So you chose to go heavy and high skill to start it off.
Well, Brandon, individual events numbers 10 and 11. That's right. There's two events back-to-back with just a 1-minute break separating the two. We're going to start off with 12-9-6 snatches and bar muscle-ups. And our ladies are going to use 85 pounds. They've got 6 minutes to get the work done.
It is a pretty even split of Games veterans and Games rookies when it comes to heat number 2, but it's a couple of veterans you got your eye on, including in lane number 7, Whitney Yellen.
Whitney Yellen is one of our more powerful athletes out here in her third Games appearance. She's got a 186-pound snatch posted to her profile. I expect to see this barbell move like a PVC pipe.
Another one of the Games vets here in this one, lane 9, Jennifer Smith.
32-year-old Jennifer Smith in her third Games. She's competed in 2016 with torn plantar fascia. She's tough, and this event is going to call on the pain cave.
And away we go with the first of two events. They try to chase down Courtney Haley's time of 3:36.42. How can they get there?
Speed is the name of the game, Brandon. We need to just rip the barbell off the floor and no wasted movements on the muscle-ups. And expect pain. This is going to be a lung and grip-intensive event from start to finish.
In part 1 and part 2, the athletes will advance the barbell every time they've completed a third of the round. And then they will advance to the rogue rig that is standing in front of them. Leader's name will be highlighted in blue with the number of reps they've completed. Everybody else will be in red with a minus number indicating how far they are behind the leader, who currently is Camilla Solomonson-Hellman in the pink tank top, blue pants in lane number 3. Second place currently held by Madeline Sturt, one of the lighter athletes in the field, not the lightest one in this heat, which is a rare position for her.
But it's definitely going to pay dividends on these bar muscle-ups. She should have the ability to get up and down quicker and potentially save her grip a little bit because she's not moving that much weight.
Chloe Goffin-David, third place, 3 reps behind the leader, Camilla Solomonson-Hellman. And our top 3 all make their way to the barbell, make it the top 4. As Gilvadotter is also there. She is in the front of the screen. But it continues to be Solomonson-Hellman, who's first to the barbell, and she's already halfway through this set of 9.
And you can see the athletes advancing forward every 3 reps. And some of the athletes are choosing to go unbroken, so they'll keep the barbell overhead, take a step, and then pick up that next 3 reps. I think that Dave Castro was really smart putting this event together, making sure that the distance between the stations there on the power snatches were really close together, encouraging the athletes to try to go unbroken.
While Camilla Solomonson-Hellman continues to lead, that lead has shrunk significantly, and it has now gone to Madeline Sturt, who at one point in this competition, and by at one point I mean yesterday, she sat in the 7th points position. Here she is in heat number 2 after a rough couple of days.
Doing a great job on the muscle-ups, bringing the hips up to the bar, throwing the shoulders over. Perfect bar muscle-up.
And she is on to the final round of 6 and 6, but it's going to be a small 3-second lead over Camilla Solomonson-Hellman. As it'll be Australia's Sturt leading Sweden's Solomonson-Hellman. Gilvadotter, originally from Iceland, currently competing out of the UAE in 3rd. And the leader, Madeline Sturt, on the right, Solomonson-Hellman on the left. And you can see how close this is. Just 2.5 seconds separating first and second, as they're only about 15 seconds away of the time to beat set by Courtney Haley out of Australia in heat number 1. It'll take going unbroken to catch that time and set a new provisional top time. Camilla Solomonson-Hellman comes down. Sturt goes unbroken, but it's not going to be enough to take the lead. But she will take heat number 1 in event 10 at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. A Gilvadotter in the white pants on the bottom of the screen has passed Solomonson-Hellman, and she'll take the second position. Solomonson-Hellman will round out the top 3 here in our opening heat. Actually, take that back. Chloe Gauvin-David at the very top lane. Apologies there, missed her by about a second, as she'll be 3rd. Solomonson-Hellman 4th. And China Cho will be our 5th place finisher in heat number 1. And she doesn't seem too happy with that performance.
No, it's frustrating when you see people finishing ahead of you in a sprint workout and you know that you've come 30, 40 seconds in behind them. It's really frustrating, especially for a veteran.
One of the rookies in this heat, E. Search, the 7th place finisher. Jen Smith will be in 8th, and Whitney Yulin will be the last athlete left on the floor with 3 reps remaining. Still about 1 minute left, but this is a double penalty. Not only is it going to be a poor finish for Whitney Yulin, but there is going to be significantly less rest for her as we are about to enter the 1 minute intermission at the 6 minute mark before we start event number 11. But quickly, let's take a look back at event number 10, which in heat number 2 was won by Madeline Sturt.
Brandon, Camilla Solomonson-Hellman came out to an early lead, making the muscle-ups look really easy, throwing herself up over the bar. Every rep was really flawless, bringing the hips up to the bar, throwing the shoulders over the top. But Madeline Sturt passed her going into the 6 snatches, and from there, never relinquished the lead. She was really quick through that last set of snatches, advancing the barbell forward without any drops, doing them all unbroken. And when she got to the bar for her last set of muscle-ups, it was 6 reps unbroken, and that gives her the heat win.
And for Madeline Sturt, she looks to make her way back up the leaderboard after seeing herself in the top 10 as far as yesterday, as she has the top time in this heat by 22 seconds over Ig Gilvadotter. Chloe Gauvin-David rounding out the top 3. Now recovery is key in this one with just a 1 minute halftime between the 2 events. And let's go down to Mike Arsenault for an update on that.
I asked a number of the athletes if recovery between event 10 and event 11 played into their strategy for event 10. Most of them said no. The plan was to go as hard as they could on event number 10 and then think about event number 11 when it comes to it. Otherwise, we're just looking at athletes at this point in the leaderboard to try and hit that home run, potentially get a high placing on the leaderboard as we end Friday of the competition.
Thank you, Mike. And we saw in heat number 1, it was a successful doubleheader for Courtney Haley. We'll see if Madeline Sturt, her fellow countrywoman out of Australia, can pull that off here in heat number 2. Once again, another 6 minute time cap. We drop the weight, we drop a little bit of the skill on the gymnastics portion as well.
Well, Brandon, on this couplet, we're going to go 21-15-9. Different rep scheme. Snatches and chest to bar pull-ups. And the ladies here are using 55 pounds for the snatches.
Just like in the first part of this doubleheader, they will advance the bar every time they complete a third of the round with the barbell. And then they'll step up to the road rig that is directly in front of them before moving to the gymnastics portion. As we close out the round of 21 snatches before 21 chest to bar pull-ups, then the round of 15, then the round of 9 with a 6 minute time cap.
You know, Brandon, so many times in the longer you do CrossFit, you get sucked into that rabbit hole of the mentality that heavier is better, more complex is better. This is a perfect example of where light and relatively simple for this level of athlete is just going to hurt so bad. You need to embrace the pain because you know it's coming.
Fastest through the first round of snatches was Whitney Yulin, but you do not see her name that high. Well, now there she goes right back up to the front. Her name once again highlighted in blue as she's torn through this. Jennifer Smith right there in line with her, and we are seeing a ton of jostling for the lead on this set of 21 chest-to-bar pull-ups. There was Yulin, who for a brief moment went from last in the first part of this to first in the second part.
Part of that is because the barbell is so light. This is only 55 pounds, so it's a question of how fast you can rip it off the floor, put it overhead, and pull it. If you're really strong, you can actually pull the bar back down to even speed up that cycle time.
Jen Smith will be the first one through round number 1. And she's already on to the second 55-pound bar. It is Smith in first, Church in second, Cho in third, coming out of that first round. Jen Smith near side of the screen. Church in the blue pants, green tank top, and here's China Cho, third place after round 1. And Cho seemed very frustrated with her performance in BiCouplet 2, which happens to be really the first part of this. But she seems to be making ground here on the second part. Lee Church, the 2017 World Police and Fire Games champion in her division, is looking to be the winner here in heat number 2 of event number 11, but she's going to have to hold off a couple of multi-time games veterans as Smith and Cho already up onto the bar.
And this is where everybody who's ever done a 21-15-9 pull-up routine of any kind, thrusters, pull-ups, Fran, you know the forearms blow up, and it's always in the round of 15. 21-15-9 workouts are notorious for doing that. So we're looking at a 21-15-9. You've already done snatches and bar muscle-ups. The grip is completely blown out, and that's why you can see these ladies dropping down, trying to recover quickly and get into that next set.
Keep in mind, time to beat is 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Set by Courtney Haley in heat number 1 as Chloe Galvin-David, E. Church, and China Cho are into the round of 9 and 9, trying to chase down that time, which is only about a half minute away. Church first into that final segment of the floor for 3 more snatches with the 55-pound bar. She'll drop it first and make her way to the rig, but Chloe Galvin-David trying to have a quicker transition. Under 10 seconds to the time to beat, and it looks like Courtney Haley is going to continue to be the leader in event 10 and event 11 with 2 each remaining. E. Church will take the heat. At 4 minutes, 17.46 seconds, Chloe Galvin-David will be second place at 4:23. And now the race is between China Cho and Madeline Sturt. Give the edge to Cho, just ahead of Sturt. 8 Gilbertotter will round out the top 5.
Highlights.
Jen Smith, 6th finisher. Next up will be Camilla Solomonson-Hellman. And Becca Voigt and Whitney Yulin will be our final 2 left on the floor as we're 1 minute away from the 6-minute cap. Becca Voigt across the line at 5 minutes and 2 seconds. And Whitney Yulin, who came out hot here in the second event of our doubleheader, will see herself bringing up the rear of the field at 5:12. But it's Madeline Sturt in event number 10 that takes the heat. E. Church that will take the heat in event number 11.
Brandon, it got off to a hot start for Michelle Glenn. She comes off really quickly off the barbell. We expected that. The barbell's really light for a very powerful athlete. She fell back. Jen Smith picked up her pace. She looked great on the chest-to-bar pull-ups. No surprises there. But it was E. Church who picked up the lead in the set of 15 snatches. You can see how efficient and how smoothly she was moving that barbell. Chloe David and E. Church both making their way to the bar for that last set of pull-ups. And you can see the chest to bar is unbroken for that final set. And she ends up taking the heat win in a time of 4:17.
Now, E. Church will be the heat winner provisionally, but it appears that there is something under review. We're going to be taking a look at that to see if we can figure out what was under question. So that is a current lead for her, but we'll have to see how that plays out in the official standings as we progress over to heat number 3, which is coming up next.